All right, so I'm cobbling this together as like a response to the Kris Apple theory for Deltarune. It's compelling. I do think it's wrong, and that's why I'm making this video. And it's unscripted, off the top of my head. Okay, so obviously you got the apple symbolism. Within like the context of the Bible or whatever, it's like, hey, uh, you can be like God, you can know what good and evil is. But within the context of the game, I do think it's more like you can see the mechanisms of your reality. Think of the enlightenment that Gaster offers to Jevil and Spamton. They both see like the the machinations of the game and how it affects them. Well, I mean, it varies, but they both are like aware that they lack freedom. And so I do think that's what the proverbial apple is. I don't think that uh, Kris is in a situation where he's like, fuck, I misgendered Kris! My face win. I'm not gonna. I don't think Kris is in a situation where they're like, um, like they are especially controlled, obviously, but like you know, it's the light thing. You following around the light. That's the story. It gives the context and stuff. I'm just saying, like, uh, Kris is clearly like experiencing the same sort of thing that Jevil is experiencing, that Spamton is experiencing, and this is the proverbial like enlightenment that this Luciferian like Promethean figure of Gaster is offering. And I do think that as fun as it would be to like create the angel as like a counter to that, I do think it's yeah, more like a counterpart. I do think that the angel is the aforementioned, like the light in the lighteners, the importance in the story. It's like a very Homestuckian bullshit thing with fucking Gnostic undertones. Um, I think that the player is the angel. I think that heaven is the audience. Spamton is like, "Are you watching me, heaven? Are you watching us, heaven? I'm gonna make it big and escape my strings," but he literally can't. As long as the light, as we are here to define the lighteners and the darkeners, they will be trapped within the story that we create for them. And so, you know, it doesn't seem so much like Gaster is evil. The player is evil. Not quite. Doesn't quite seem that way. And it doesn't quite seem like there's a whole lot of like temptation involved. I don't know. The apple symbolism is poignant, but if anything, I think that Susie acts as her kind of own enlightener. Like she's remarkably tied to the very system that she's supposedly like ignorant of. She's like, your choices don't matter in this world. And so long as we follow down, we're following down these like railroaded paths. So long as there's light, us, then yeah, they don't. I think they're gonna keep going into dark worlds, and I think shit's gonna happen. Ooh, but yeah, that's what I think. I don't think that the angel is going to be like a tangible character necessarily. Maybe they will be. I don't think so. Kris seems more like I don't know. They're like the conduit for that interplay, and I think that's interesting. I do think that it's going to follow a kind of a similar pattern to Homestuck. In Homestuck, John, or like maybe she's June now, whatever. Homestuck Beyond Canon is its own thing. But John was put in a position where they were like, hey, this is our fucked up world that was killed by the demiurge. We need to escape this world and its horrid, cruel design on this predetermined path that the narrative has guided us towards. And so, in like the Gnostic conception of Christ, through the power of Gnosis, uh, June like helps take the narrative and their friends kind of away from this like finality. And I kind of think that Kris might also be a Christ analog in that sense. Like John June, obviously a Gnostic Christ analog. If I had a nickel for every Christ analog in fucking Homestuck, I'd have like 3 or 4 nickels. Way too many of them. um, but I think it's interesting. I think that in one of the paths, probably, or maybe all of the paths, um, Kris will either get like autonomy or our influence will be snuffed out. The light will be vanquished. And we represent that light, that narrative continuity. I'm done ranting. I think I covered most of the things. I guess I should go over temptation. I'm kind of irked by the the women are temptresses and Eve did the ultimate sin by tempting Adam into eating the apple. It's insane. It's like, okay, she was a child. She didn't know the difference between good and evil because she didn't eat the apple. You fool. I don't blame her. I think it's weird to like assign blame, but uh, but more to the point, I don't think that temptation is really quite the right word here, because like obviously in real life, fiction is just the way we understand the world. If fiction is just our real life dark fountain, then no, opening dark fountains isn't bad. Opening too many destroys the whole world. I don't know, maybe you could get so focused on Christian fiction that you're not looking at reality anymore. That's important. Doesn't tend to destroy the world though. So it's an allegory. It's a whole thing. We don't even know if it's one to one. We don't know what it's going to look like when the whole story is done. So a lot of it is speculation. I think that I think that it would be weird if the Dark Worlds were like a solely bad thing, though. Kind of an aside, this was a video about the Apple theory. Thank you for listening to my theory.